Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 557 based on novel. So let's start. The two seemingly terrifying attacks collided suddenly, but there was no extremely violent energy ripples, only a harsh sound of boulders colliding on the ground of the square. This blow seemed terrifying, but the two were just trying their knives. The astonishing impact force made Long Tian's body take a step back, and his body trembled. Even the grey giant outside his body suddenly filled with obvious cracks. On the other hand, Long Yuan's fist was unscathed, except for some scarlet liquid flowing, slowly covering his fist. The attack under his fist was particularly terrifying. It seems that over the years, your strength has not improved much. Suddenly, looking at Long Tian's powerless figure, Long Yuan's face suddenly showed a smug smile, and he stared at Long Tian gloomily. He knew that his strength and Long Tian had always been on a par with each other. If he hadn't been rewarded by the Silver Dragon King, how could he be so easily stronger than the other? But it doesn't matter. This time, the Silver Dragon King's strategy is flawless. Even if the gods come, they can't stop it. Long Yuan's mind has already seen the miserable picture of Long Tian and other strong men of the Golden Dragon King being reduced to prisoners. As soon as the shot ended, Long Tian's eyes stayed on Long Yuan's body. His expression swept away slightly, and then his brows tightened. The powerhouses in the Dragon Clan are almost aware of each other's existence. Their strength and combat effectiveness have always been in an evenly matched state. But why is the difference in combat effectiveness between the two of them so obvious now that they are fighting each other? Long Tian's eyes gradually locked on Long Yuan's clenched fist, especially the scarlet energy covering the fist, which made the latter's pupils shrink slightly, and smelled a creepy feeling from it. Fluctuations. That's the power of the keel. At this time, Long Tian's eyes became more and more solemn. He could never have imagined that this precious keel in the past would actually appear on Long Yuan's body. Among the Dragon Clan, during the reign of the Golden Dragon King, they were in harmony, and they also had extremely enlightened rules of reward and punishment. Those who had reached the quasi-9 reincarnation level within the clan could be led by the Golden Dragon King to the core of the Dragon Clan. Get a keel that suits you and use it to increase your strength. This was the highest reward when the Golden Dragon King was in power, and it was also one of the ways of rewarding the dragon race to become a true overlord. However, with the disappearance of the Golden Dragon King, after the Dragon Clan was ruled by the Silver Dragon King, even some nobles such as Long Tian, whose strength reached the quasi-9 reincarnation level, could not obtain the keel from the Silver Dragon King. In whatever way you want. The various measures taken by the Silver Dragon King during the reign of the Dragon Clan also led to the stagnation of the strength of the Dragon Clan, or even the weakening. Lord Wan Blood Dragon Demon. Orangutan Fist Bone. After a while, Long Yi's eyes were filled with an unbelievable look, and he obviously smelled the name of the keel on Long Yuan's fist. Each keel is extremely precious and has its own unique origin and name. The Wan Blood Dragon Demon, known as the supreme powerhouse who stepped into the 9-layered reincarnation hierarchy with half a foot, in the previous battle of Heaven and Earth, he tried his best to wield a giant fist, and with one punch, he seriously injured the 9-tiered reincarnation hierarchy. The orangutan fist bone, which was transformed after the fall of such a strong man, has always had a very high value among the Dragon Clan, and it was unexpected that it would be obtained by Long Yuan now. With this keel's boosted punch, even with the strength of Long Tian's full power, I'm afraid it will be more fortunate than fortunate. In the same rank, almost no one can resist the devastating attack under the augmentation of the keel by one person. Damn, have to find a way. Looking at the two elders who were in a more dignified atmosphere, Long Yi kept flashing each other's attacks, but he quickly calculated in his heart. In terms of strength, he is absolutely no match for the mysterious figure in front of him, and in terms of wisdom, he is not comparable to Xiao Yan, but now that the catastrophe is imminent, how can we break the situation? Your opponent is me. When Long Yi was distracted, Zhukuan burst out with a loud shout, and the sharp reincarnation breath permeated out, directly fighting the latter. However, Zhukuan at this time is completely different from the old Dragon Emperor period when he was on Dochi continent. During the Dochi continent period, he was undoubtedly stronger countless times. Dragon Palm. In the face of Zhukuan's ruthless attack, Long Yi's pressure was greatly increased for a while, and even those who were attacked by the latter had many large and small scars on his body. As a last resort, he could only move quickly. The power in the body suddenly exploded, and a vast reincarnation power condensed in the palm of the hand, and pushed it out with one palm. Zhukuan is comparable in strength to himself, but the latter's control of the timing of the battle is too superb, leaving Long Yi far behind. Long Yi knew that in the battle between the two of them, he had absolutely no chance of winning. 2 Void Claw. Facing Long Yi's attack, Zhukuan snorted slightly, and then raised his old palm, surrounded by countless energies, which instantly swelled and turned into a giant claw, which suddenly shuttled through the void, facing Long Yi. The chest grab. Boom. The two attacks came into contact with each other quietly, but Long Yi's attack quickly melted and disappeared. On the other hand, the gloomy killing intent on Zhukuan's face became more violent, and the destructive power around him also intensified. Long Yi knew that he was not the opponent's opponent, and suddenly urged the dragon's blood in his body to try to break through the bondage. For a time, the vast destruction force shook Long Yi's body, and even a mouthful of bright red blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. Mr. Long Tian. With one blow, he broke free from Zhukuan's terrifying claw marks, and Long Yi's body quickly rushed towards Long Tian's position, as if he wanted to rescue Long Tian with his own flesh and blood. It's ridiculous. With Ben Taishang's punch, even Long Tian will be wiped out. What can you do with just the power of an ant like you? The brilliance of the keel above Long Yuan's fist became more and more dazzling. He waved his hand slightly to attract Zhukuan behind him, and grabbed the other hand against the void, and Long Yi's body was bound by a strange force of space. A huge sense of suffocation penetrated from the void, pressing down on Long Yi's soul and body a little bit, causing the latter's life to flow by quickly. Your strength, in my eyes, is like an ant. Long Tian, Ben Taishang is giving you the last chance. My lord has always been kind and kind-hearted. I think that you are noble as the dragon clan Taishang. As long as you swear that you will always obey my lord and plant the dragon pattern voluntarily, I can keep you there forever. The status among the dragons will not be shaken. Even now that the victory is in hand, Long Yuan is not in a hurry to launch a devastating blow. The victory of the Silver Dragon King is imminent, and if the top combat power of these dragons can be used, it may be of great help to the next plan of the Silver Dragon King. You are dreaming. For a while, Long Tian's expression seemed very calm, with a strange wave flashing in his deep eyes, and he didn't open his mouth. Instead, Long Yi, who was bound by Long Yuan, sneered sarcastically. It's really annoying. Long Yuan turned his head slightly and looked at Long Yi's face full of sarcasm and disdain. The killing intent in his voice was even colder. He squeezed his palms heavily, only to hear the sound of broken bones from Long Yi's voice. Spread out from the body. Blood was dripping from the pupils, the corners of the mouth, the nose, and even the pores of the ears. Long Yuan, do you remember why you cultivated? Seeing such a tragic scene, Long Tian's entire body, which had always been dead silent, suddenly trembled. Cultivation is naturally for supreme rights and for supreme glory. Could it be that you want to tell me that your cultivation is for the sake of the world? Long Yuan shook his head slightly regretfully. From Long Tian's words, he clearly knew the latter's decision. I'm different from you. The Golden Dragon King is the supreme dragon master of my dragon clan. As early as during the First World War, I swear in secret that my life belongs to the Dragon Master. Returning your life to the Dragon Lord now is the best destination for Ben Taishang. The Dragon God will die. But the will of the Dragon God passed down from generation to generation by the Dragon God will never be wiped out. Long Tian said with a light smile. His unfathomable words made the killing intent in Long Yuan's heart even more majestic. The will of the Dragon God? That kind of illusory thing, I am afraid that only an old man like you will believe. You are extremely pedantic. Long Yuan's expression was vicious and moving, and he even roared directly with a ferocious expression. You are a sinful dragon who is fascinated by profit, and you are not qualified to be the elder of the dragon family. After saying the last sentence, Long Tian's body, flesh, and even soul began to surge at the same time, a wave of destruction far surpassing the blessing of Long Yuan's keel, like a slowly shattering seed. A little bit diffused. Gulu, Long Tian, are you crazy? You're actually willing to blew yourself up. At this moment, looking at Long Tian's behavior, Long Yuan's eyelids twitched violently. The supreme elder of the dragon clan, the supreme strength of the quasi-ninth reincarnation level, such a noble identity, even if it is in the great thousand world, it is an existence that is respected by countless creature. What's more, in order to cultivate to the quasi-ninth reincarnation level, no one knows better than them how hard it is to pay, and now, in order to protect the Golden Dragon King, Long Tian has completely detonated all his life and all his power. This scene severely impacted Long Yuan's heart. Since you are so crazy, then I will accompany you crazy once. Keel. In an instant, two fighting skills that almost reached the category of quasi-god rank fluctuated in their abilities, converging little by little. As for Zhukuan and Long Yi, the latter was lying on the ground dying, while the former was standing not far behind Long Yuan, seemingly suspicious. For a time, the two suddenly launched a very fierce gathering of killers in the Dragon God Plaza, but the stability of the space here, even the desperate power of the two Supreme Elders, the quasi-ninth reincarnation level, the resulting destruction power, can't even disturb the void here in the slightest. The tenacity of Dragon God Plaza is well deserved. On the other side, the Silver Dragon King walked gracefully with lotus steps, and a confident and calm smile hung on his beautiful face. The purple-haired girl was moved by his palm, and he slowly approached the golden stone tablet. "Yanga, what's wrong?" When the Silver Dragon King led the purple-haired girl to the golden stele, a strange ripple appeared in the girl's unwavering purple eyes. The delicate body twisted, facing the confrontation of the four people in the distance, and his eyes were fixed on the four people who were fighting on the square on the side, especially the position of Long Yi, who was lying on the ground, and seemed to be watching Long Yi's at that time. Something in the girl's body that had been buried for a long time was loosening slightly. It was a vague shadow. He would occasionally need his help. As a price, he would always refine all kinds of strange elixir for himself, and even later, he also got a lot of help from him. He was like a big brother. He gave me meticulous care. I seem to have spent a lot of good times with him. Has the suppression of the crystal dust mysterious world loosened? Seeing such a strange scene of the purple-haired girl, the Silver Dragon King frowned, and then said to himself, "That guy seems to have an unfamiliar yet familiar aura." The purple-haired girl stood there dumbfounded, her cherry-like mouth twitched slightly, and several emotions poured into her heart. "What exactly is that? I seem to have forgotten something important to me." After a while, the purple-haired girl's voice was slightly hoarse, and she spoke in a low voice, as if she had forgotten her important memory for a moment. "It's just that his beautiful eyes have been watching Long Yi, and the purple dragon tail behind the long skirt is swaying faintly, but no matter how hard the latter tries to recall, he still can't remember any memory. It seems that in his mind, a lot of important things are missing. Things. Yanga, when this is over, my mother will personally accompany you to retrieve all the lost memories, okay?" At this moment, the Silver Dragon King had a gentle aura in his eyes, but after a while, he smiled. His gentle voice was like a loving big sister, soothing the purple-haired girl's trembling heart. Listening to the gentle voice of the Silver Dragon King, the purple-haired girl's originally turbulent mind slowly returned to calm, and her eyes turned to the golden stone tablet in front of her. In the stone tablet, there seems to be some power that is exactly the same as himself. Mother's purpose seems to be that kind of breath. Golden Dragon King. The next moment, the smile on the corner of the Silver Dragon King's mouth became more and more gloomy, and he immediately raised his colorful slender wrist to probe it. Stab. However, the smile of the Silver Dragon King did not last long. When his arm touched the whole body of the golden stone tablet, a powerful golden aura burst out from it, making it as powerful as the Silver Dragon King, and there was an electric shock from his wrist. Icy touch. Enchantment. The wrist was suddenly retracted, and the power of the colorful elements on it was instantly destroyed, and even a trace of golden light burned the wrist like a flame, causing the eyelids of the Silver Dragon King to twitch slightly. This immortal actually discovered this king's plan a long time ago. After a lot of tossing, the original happy look of the Silver Dragon King instantly turned into a hideous resentment, and an amazing force of destruction continued to spread out, bullying, suppressing, abusing, whipping. That guy, named Golden Dragon King, is a heinous villain. My mother came back this time to get back what belongs to me. Will Yanga help her mother? Looking at the mad Silver Dragon King beside her, the purple-haired girl's mind couldn't help but show the entrustment of the latter to her before leaving, and immediately the purple dragon's tail swayed slightly behind her. She seemed to be hesitating. Mother is very good to herself, but why is there always a faint voice in her body resisting all the latter's entrustment? That so-called Golden Dragon King is really, as my mother said, is he an unforgivable villain? I have a way. After the blink of an eye, the purple-haired girl's bewitching purple eyes flickered, and she stared at the golden stone tablet in front of her with an ancient aura. The defensive barrier around the Dragon God Stone monument is so powerful that even if it is as strong as the Silver Dragon King, it cannot be broken through in a short period of time. When the Silver Dragon King heard the words, the anger in his heart suddenly turned into joy, and he immediately returned to his usual soft posture. He leaned down and touched the long hair of the purple-haired girl, looking very intimate. Although the purple-haired girl is not strong, she has the supreme divine power related to the Dragon God. Although she is as strong as the Silver Dragon King, she can only be treated gently and peacefully. After all, The will of the dragon ****** on the purple-haired girl, even the Silver Dragon King is afraid. But Yang did this, is it really right? After a while, the purple-haired girl raised her delicate cheeks, hesitated for a while in her mind, and stood there blankly, staring at the Silver Dragon King beside her. The entrustment of the Silver Dragon King, as well as the obscure voice in the body, made the girl at a loss for a while. Well, we're just coming back here to get what belongs to us. The Silver Dragon King nodded calmly, but his heart had already set off a huge wave. The girl in front of her, but after searching for countless reincarnations, she found the most proud masterpiece. Everything they do in the Dragon Clan will eventually become a stepping stone for them to dominate the world. Boom. After receiving the affirmative answer from the Silver Dragon King, the purple-haired girl also nodded heavily, and then tried her best to suppress the hidden voice in her heart, and quickly raised her jade hand. Her fingertips were suddenly pierced by a sharp force, a drop of purple blood, slowly. The drops fell into the air and swooped down towards the golden stone tablet. At the moment when the drop of purple blood dripped, there seemed to be an ancient atmosphere that was exactly the same as that in the golden stone tablet, and they echoed each other, which was extremely mysterious. In an instant, purple blood droplets formed a colorful and tiny dragon shadow on the golden stone tablet, entrenched on it. The Golden Dragon King's defensive barrier that even the Silver Dragon King could not destroy, at this moment, it was like residual ice encountering fire, rapidly melting. Yang, let's go. In the next instant, the Silver Dragon King once again touched the palm of the purple-haired girl and walked slowly towards the Dragon God Stone Stele together with her lotus steps. A burst of intense light erupted from the golden stone tablet, as if checking whether the two were qualified to step into it. After a brief moment, the stone tablet shone with light, and the bodies and aura of the two disappeared completely, as if they had never appeared before. Among the stone tablets is the place left by the Dragon God, and it is also the place where the Golden Dragon King retreats. I am afraid that no one knows about the danger or the opportunity. However, judging from the enchantment on the stone tablet just now, the Golden Dragon King seems to have guessed some conspiracies in the heart of the Silver Dragon King, and set up a magnificent world around the golden stone tablet. With the existence of the Golden Dragon King, the barrier set up by the Golden Dragon King is vulnerable. Now that the Silver Dragon King has stepped into it with this mysterious girl, the fate of the Golden Dragon King may be in a state of doom. The reason why the Dragon Clan can always stand at the peak of the Great Thousand World, even in its peak period, its power is directly beyond the center of the human world and the kingdom of angels, and it is on an equal footing with the Xiao clan in its prosperous period. And now the number and quality of the powerhouses affected by the civil strife of the Dragon Clan has reached an outrageous level. If the two Dragon Clan leaders lose any of them, the blow to the Dragon Clan's hegemony will be an unprecedented hit. The overlord who has always stood at the top of the living beings in the Great Thousand World, the Dragon Race. I am afraid that some great changes will take place today that are enough to cause a sensation in the entire world. You bastard, egg. Seeing that the woman beside the Silver Dragon King could so easily pierce the power of the supreme enchantment arranged by the Golden Dragon King, Long Yi couldn't care less about the passing life force and roared vigorously. It seems that he wants to burst out all his strength to prevent them from stepping into it. Even in the depths of his pupils, endless madness emerged. But what can the current self, with such strength, be able to do? Ended. It's all over. All of this seems to be the conspiracy of the Silver Dragon King. She was the one who started the civil unrest in the Dragon Clan, and it was she who forced the Golden Dragon King into the Dragon Tomb. Her purpose, I am afraid, is to try to take advantage of the weakness when the Golden Dragon King stepped into the Dragon Godstone Monument, and with the life of the Golden Dragon King, covet the power of the Dragon God in the Dragon Godstone Monument, so as to complete her true transformation and control the power of the Dragon God. Among the Dragon Clan, the power of the Dragon God, which only exists in the legend, is above the heaven and earth. That is, at the moment when Long Yi was struggling to the death like this, the brilliant red giant fist in the distance and a dazzling silver beam of destruction were completely condensed. Attack together. The magnificent attack collided in an instant, and the scene and momentum were so magnificent that it made people's minds and souls shock. In the entire Dragon Tomb, countless dragon corpses that had long since lost their life turned out to be ancient creatures that had been sleeping for a long time. An unprecedented sound of dragon roar and anger erupted together, as if trying to stop the terrible attack of the two from exploding. Come on. However, these dragon corpses, after all, are all dead things. With only some illusory remnants, they can't compete with them at all, and they are easily destroyed by them. Crash. The terrifying power of the two quasi-god level fighting skills completely swept away. Although this piece of Dragon God Square was not broken in any way, the terrifying shock wave generated by the two was suddenly like the death ***** wielding a deadly sickle. Rushing at will, destroying countless dragon bodies in the dragon tomb. Where the shock wave passed, countless dragon bodies suddenly turned into powder, and the entire dragon tomb was shaken slightly by its energy. The destruction of nearly half of the keels, such a loss, is also an extremely huge existence for the dragon family. The shock wave of the attack was gradually annihilated, and Long Tien, who was guided by the power of self-destruction, coughed violently, and he coughed out a mouthful of blood from the corner of his mouth uncontrollably. The scene was out of control for a while. On the other side, Long Yuan's situation was not optimistic either. All the limbs and bones on his body loosened at the same time, and a horrific wave still permeated his heart. Both losers. Long Yi and Zhukuan spoke out together, and their voices were amazed. The attacks of these two people were so terrifying that they were only evenly matched. The power of self-destruction and the attack under the blessing of the keel are a draw. That is, at this moment, at the entrance of the distant dragon tomb, there was a swift figure, like a beam of light that pierced through the dead silence, bursting towards the Dragon God Square at a rapid rate, and even behind the beam, there were several bright beams. The energy flickers out, and the fluctuations contained in it are probably also some quite good existences. This breath, is it Long Feng? Looking at the breath flying in from a distance, Long Yuan twisted his scarred body and smiled. It just came. Long Tien tried to provoke the supreme majesty of my lord, but now he has exploded himself. The fire of life is already burning. Hurry up and kill Long Tien. After it's done, everything about him belongs to you. The pain on his body spread little by little, and Long Yuan could only breathe heavily, and even his fist supported by the keel was trembling. Although he is the subordinate of the Silver Dragon King, he is not willing to fight as hard as Long Tien. He just wants to delay the time for the Silver Dragon King, so the attack just now is only a lose-lose. After all, he is still waiting for the Silver Dragon King to rule the Dragon Clan. To enjoy endless glory and wealth, if he is as desperate as Long Tien, I am afraid that he will not be able to wait for that time. Dragon powerhouses, especially at their level, will not fall instantly even if they explode themselves. It is only the root of the Dragon Clan that blew itself up, the dragon body. After that, there is still the fire of life. Once the fire of life is burned out, even the strong fighting gods are powerless to return to the sky. God is dead. Could it be that heaven really wants to kill my Dragon Clan? Looking at the awe-inspiring aura that filled this light group, within Long Tien's illusory soul, a very dim flame was beating slightly. That is the fire of life, and it is also the last vitality of the latter. The desperate self-destruction just now made Long Tien's situation even more difficult and dangerous. Obviously, there is not much time left for Long Tien. Once the fire of life in his soul is exhausted, he will be completely destroyed. Looking at the energy light group that suddenly passed by in the distance, the madness in Long Tien's eyes gradually rose. The power of the keel is indeed powerful, and even the price of self-destructing the dragon's body cannot completely obliterate the latter. It's just that in the world outside the Dragon Tomb, without the Golden Dragon King and his protection, the allied army of the Dragon King and others may not be able to resist the allied army of the Silver Dragon King and others. And now the aura in this light group fluctuates well, and the visitor is probably another Supreme Elder under the command of the Silver Dragon King. Half-step ninefold reincarnation level Long Feng. Now that he has self-destructed his dragon body, the fire of life has begun to burn, and there is no turning back. Even so, he is not sure that he can stop the other two Supreme Elders. This battle seems to have been under the precise planning of the Silver Dragon King for a long time, and there is no flaw at all. And as smart as the Golden Dragon King, I am afraid that he has already known this scene. Bring the two of them here, and step into the Dragon Godstone Monument alone. Everything the Golden Dragon King did seems to be just following the Silver Dragon King's plan. The Silver Dragon King's plan is flawless, but Long Tien knows some of the Golden Dragon King's heart. The Golden Dragon King is also gambling. Whether it was he who made the breakthrough first, or was the Silver Dragon King the first to succeed. This big gamble, the price behind him is the entire Dragon Clan, but this is also a last resort. Wait, this breath. In an instant, under such a desperate situation, an unbelievable look appeared in Long Yi's pupils. His eyes were staring at the black shadow that began to surge in the light group, and he lost his voice. That kind of breath, that kind of figure, seems to be very familiar to me. Long Feng, what are you waiting for? Feeling that the figure in the light group in front of him was unmoved, Long Yuan snorted coldly, and his voice was clearly full of anger. If it weren't for the fact that he had just used the fist of the keel to resist Long Tian's devastating blow, causing him to be seriously injured now, how could Long Yuan be willing to give Long Feng the power of a quasi-ninth level reincarnation level powerhouse? Facing Long Yuan's cold voice of anger, there was no response in the light group, only a dead dog-like figure shot out at will. That feeling seemed to be kicked out at will, and after there is no trace of vitality at all. Who? Get out of here. Looking at the figure that flew out, it was Long Feng, especially the latter who didn't have a complete bone all over his body. The skin, flesh, and even the bones seemed to be completely twisted by some kind of force. Even the legs where the keel was stored were deep. At this time, he had already passed out. However, this guy's life also shocked Xiao Yang. He fused with the blood of the Golden Dragon King, and wielded the strongest blow with his skyrocketing strength. He did not kill the latter, but only made him half dead. My uncle, where is he? The light group was slowly annihilated, and a figure bathed in golden brilliance unexpectedly arrived at Long Yuan's side silently. In the golden eyes, there was an indescribable ferocity and ferocity. Guru, the power of the Golden Dragon King? Who are you? At this moment, a touch of unease slowly replaced Long Yuan's heart, and immediately dragged his severely injured body, and directly vigilantly spoke with Zhukuan back to back. This guy seems to have seen it. When Zhukuan saw the figure bathed in golden light, he slowly narrowed his eyes, and the breath around his body burst out with a very long vague memory. Buzz. While Xiao Yang was in such a furious state, a very violent movement erupted from the soul jade deep in the Emperor Flame ring within his body, and just then the endless violent aura in Xiao Yang's heart was extinguished little by little. Who? The blood of the Golden Dragon King is really not so easy to swallow. If it wasn't for the timely vibration of the soul jade and the ring, it would have been controlled by that force and turned into a dragon who only knew how to kill. Xiao Yang trembled for a while, and returned to his normal posture little by little. Etc. This is Senior Zhukuan. With the movement of Soul Jade and Emperor Yenjie, the golden ripples in Xiao Yang's eyes slowly subsided and gradually returned to their normal appearance, but just as he turned his eyes, when he was looking at the figure beside Long Yuan in front of him, his eyes flickered. With a touch of surprise. Doqi Continent, the old dragon emperor of the Taishu ancient dragon clan, Zhukuan. Unexpectedly, this old dragon emperor who has been searching for countless years without a trace will meet here. In any case, this guy is also Zi Yang's nominal father. Now Zi Yang is missing without a trace. After the catastrophe is over here, I can only try to see if I can pass Zhukuan and some dragon breaths on him. Contact and try to find the specific location of Zi Yang. This breath is not quite right. Has it been controlled? After a while, Xiao Yang also slowly shook his head as he looked at Zhukuan, who was unmoved. With his huge soul power, he was naturally able to capture some things that were difficult for ordinary people to find. Zhukuan, stop him for me. I'll go inside and invite the Silver Dragon King. In an instant, Long Yuan gritted his teeth and tried to swipe away at the Dragon Godstone steely. People like him who are greedy for life and fear of death will naturally not work hard for the Silver Dragon King, and now that Long Feng is half dead, I am afraid that the outside world's 5 major Dragon King coalition forces will also be defeated. Want to go? Ignoring Zhukuan's situation for the time being, Xiao Yang raised his arm covered with golden dragon scales and gently held it against Long Yuan's throat. The cold and eerie voice moved Long Yuan's mind for a while. Long Yuan's figure flickered. Although he avoided Xiao Yang's terrifying attack, his face couldn't help but look ugly. This seemingly harmless guy, his strength, actually reached the embarrassing half-step 9-fold reincarnation level. What's more, the power that Xiao Yang wields between his hands and feet now really makes Long Yuan feel chills, and he still has the breath of the Golden Dragon King on his body. With the blessing of several powers, Xiao Yang's fighting power has reached a whole new level. It made Long Yuan's heart retreat even stronger. This kind of terrifying existence is definitely not something that I can deal with now who is seriously injured. I am afraid that the only way now is to enter the Dragon Godstone Monument and seek the protection of the Silver Dragon King. Otherwise, facing such a terrifying opponent, I will really put myself in a real danger. That kind of situation is not what I want to see. Damn guy. Just as he was about to retreat into the Dragon Godstone Monument, he found that Xiao Yang completely blocked his way of retreat. Long Yuan could only give up the idea of escaping, and surrounded Zhukuan, slowly planning some terrifying trump card. Xiao Yang, Long Tian and Long Yi, who were in their souls in the distance, looked at each other, and even their voices became trembling, with an unreal feeling of daydreaming. Shong, big brother, the younger generation is late. You should rest first. Here, Leave it to me. Xiao Yang waved his hand slowly, and the golden rays of light instantly dispersed a vast force that enveloped the two of them, greatly reducing their crisis. Although this guy is injured, but he has a keel and his strength has reached the quasi-9 reincarnation level, I am afraid it is not you. Long Tian's heart moved for a while, but he was still worried about Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang didn't say anything about this, and raised his head slightly, watching the flickering energy light and shadow. Boom! The emptiness of the dragon tomb surged, and there were bursts of hurried wind breaking from all directions, completely sweeping away all the doubts in Long Tian's heart. Among the crowd, not only Xiao Xian who secretly escaped from the army and followed him, but also the Paxia Dragon King with a silent tone, the Fire Dragon King with a furious face, Kalin with a cold expression and a cold killing intent. His expression was calm, but his body was full of strength. The powerful Yun crowd came along with Xiao Yang's figure. Behind them, there are three Dragon Kings, the Dark Dragon King, the Star Dragon King and the Storm Dragon King. Are you okay? As soon as they arrived at the Dragon God Plaza, Kalin and Yun surrounded Xiao Yang one after the other, and their beautiful eyes kept scanning Xiao Yang's body and soul, checking whether the latter was corroded by the blood essence of the Golden Dragon King. I'm fine. Next, I'm afraid there will be a ***** battle. Xiao Yang nodded to the two women, and then stared at Long Yuan in the distance. The killing intent became more and more obvious. What a bunch of lingering guys. Xiao Xian had just arrived at the Dragon God Plaza, and before he had time to watch the battle on the field, he looked at the three Dragon Kings behind him, and there was a cold killing intent in his eyes. A group of criminals, trespassing on the Dragon Tomb. This is a capital crime. Tai Shong. It is these sinners who seriously injured Lord Longfeng. The Dark Dragon King took a slight step, and the cold power of darkness permeated, and he was the first to speak. That kind of dark power has a weak connection with the demon power in Xiao Yang's body, but at this time Xiao Yang obviously didn't have the heart to pay attention to this. Since it's here, let's fight. The killing intent in the eyes of Barsha Dragon King and Fire Dragon King became stronger and stronger. Humph, this is the end, we won't make it easier for you. Kill. For a time, the strong men on both sides couldn't help but fight together completely. Barsha Dragon King, Fire Dragon King and Yun deal with the three Dragon Kings together, Xiao Yang and Kalin deal with Long Yuan together. Zhukuan. At the moment when the two powerhouses fought against each other, Xiao Xian's face slowly touched. Looking at the old-faced figure above the Dragon God Plaza, the pride in Xiao Xian's body slowly emerged. Xiao Xian. Even if he was controlled, deep in Zhukuan's mind, he still clearly remembered this unforgettable name. Old opponent. I haven't had a chance to fight well, so I will be here today and fulfill my wish. After Xiao Xian finished speaking, the divine weapon boundless shield behind him slowly spread out, and the fiery fighting intent in his pupils could not be added. At the beginning of the Doqi continent, Xiao Xian was the first person under Do Di, and his achievements even surpassed those of Jinglian Yaosheng, Huangquan Yaosheng and others, but he was the only one who did not fight against this old dragon emperor. Kuan, who had already been trapped outside the cave because of his coveted Dudi cave, became a guardian beast. One person was once the strongest genius in the Xiao clan, and the other person was an existence who once stood at the top of Doqi continent to call the wind and call the rain. Even the fact that Xiao Xian merged the power of the three bloodlines to help Xiao Yang at the beginning made Zhukuan almost thinking that this is the descendant who devoured his own children. He has a deeper memory of Xiao Xian's breath. Although you are under control now, we are both of the peak generation in the Doqi continent, so let's have a good fight here. After Xiao Xian finished speaking, he waved his palm slowly, and the countless flames in his body surged up. That kind of fluctuation turned out to be the true inheritance of the Fire Dragon King, and looking at the ruthlessness of his shot, he obviously does not intend to delay, he intends to kill with one blow. Dragon God. Sixth transformation. While speaking, Zhukuan's body was covered with thick silver dragon scales, and the entire body was slightly plunged into the void, which could not be distinguished by the naked eye. I didn't expect that the Silver Dragon King would actually pass on you the supreme fighting skills of the dragon race. Bring it on. Boom. The two attacks were completely involved, and although the fluctuations were not powerful, for these two warriors from the Doqi continent, it was considered to have fulfilled their last wish. It's just that almost no one noticed that in the interval between Xiao Xian and Zhukuan's fight, Zhukuan's sanity was also replying little by little. Xiaolong Lord. The war broke out, and the two sides fought together again. Except for Long Yuan, everyone else's eyes were red, but Long Tian felt the figure in the golden light in front of him cannot help but slightly moved. This is the genius that the Golden Dragon King often talks about, and who has the greatest hope of surpassing the Xiao clan of all dynasties. The Lord of the Endless Flame Alliance, Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang did not respond, the majestic soul power and wood attribute power in his body waved, and the skilled seal protected the latter's passing life. After Xiao Yang's familiar actions, Long Tian only felt that the fire of life that had begun to burn in his body was actually contained, and there was a feeling of old tears in his heart. Self-destructing the dragon body and burning the fire of life, he had no intention of going out alive at all, because once the fire of life was burned, it could not be stopped at all. At least in his experience, except for the kingdom of angels, no human being could do this. But Xiao Yang's actions now refreshed his cognition. This Xiao Yang's strength and temperament are quite convincing, and he may have the appearance of a great emperor in the future. This video will end here.